So I've already done a video kind of for this year of my favourite movies, kind of 2018 edition. But when I actually started to think about it, there are a lot of great movies that didn't make my list. Either kind of for certain reasons they either got pushed off the list by other entries, or just ones I hadn't yet seen, or ones that I love but I didn't consider high enough for my top 10 list. So today I thought I'd go through a couple of guilty pleasure movies. These are movies that didn't make my most recent list for a couple of possible reasons. It may be that they used to be on the list but got pushed back by others. It may be they're kind of a big franchise which I felt wasn't fair, or just I didn't think them particularly highly enough. But but I still love them. Still love every one of them. So, in no particular order, here are some of my guilty pleasure movies. Frozen. It's a cultural phenomenon, and practically everybody knows it. That, yeah, maybe it got pushed out by stuff like Inside Out. Kind of another one from kind of Disney, this time with Pixar. But, yeah, it's a cultural phenomenon. Everybody knows it. I love the film, but I felt it was a little bit cheating to put it on my top 10. Ghostbusters. I only saw the film last year, but I can see why everybody loves it, and I do admit it does have a couple of kind of great kind of cultural moments. But yeah, as I said, I only saw it last year, and I possibly haven't seen it the 80 plus times everyone else has. The Breakfast Club. I only recently saw that too, and I do think it's another one of these 80s classics. If it was kind of up for consideration on my list, it would probably have been pushed out by the 80s classic that did make my list, The Princess Bride. But yeah, it's a great movie, one of John Hughes' great movies, and I can understand why people love it. The Star Wars series. As it was kind of essentially a whole series, I felt it was kind of cheating if one of them did end up on the list. But you know what? It's Star Wars. Once again, pretty much everyone knows it. And while it's had its ups and downs, it's still a great movie series. The Harry Potter series. All 8 movies and the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them movie. It's also getting another kind of sequel coming up either later this year or next year, The Crimes of Grindelwald. And yeah, once again, I felt everyone is going to have their personal favourite kind of movie or book from the series, and yeah, I kind of felt big series might be cheating just a little bit to include one from there, but still a very good series nonetheless. How to Train Your Dragon. This was one that I do remember kind of when I first started doing my kind of favourite movie series, it did make the list, but I think it eventually got kind of pushed back by other movies, but having recently watched the sequel to it, How to Train Your Dragon 2, I do still think it is one of those ones that kind of people don't talk much about, but that it's just wonderful to take in. And I think I agree with that. A Cinderella Story. This one made my top 10 list for about 2 years before it was eventually pushed off by The Princess Bride. Kind of I felt two kind of princess movies in one list might be a little bit much. But I admit I do mostly just like this movie for the ending. Kind of the big happy ending tie up after all the tragedy she's gone through. But I do feel it's a guilty pleasure, and one that if I'm channel hopping and I catch the end of it, or even kind of catch it in the middle, I'll usually stick around for it. WALL-E. When I first started the series, I think WALL-E might have made the list, but I think would have eventually been pushed back by Inside Out. But it is one of those movies that you kind of watch it, then you don't watch it for a while, and then when you see it on the shelf, you think, I've got to rewatch that at some point. It is kind of. I do kind of agree with people who said that the kind of first half is better than the second half. I can see that. But it is still a good movie to watch every now and again. Blackadder Back and Forth. The kind of finale ending to the Blackadder series. It sees Blackadder and Baldock kind of travelling through time to various points, and it is a great fun movie to watch, both for it mainly focusing on Rowan Atkinson and Tony Robinson. It's a great movie to watch every now and again, even if you don't watch it all the time. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. I only saw this one this year, but I think it may be kind of gunning for one of the top spots when I get around to my 2019 favourite movies list. So we'll have to wait and see. But it is climbing up there. I think it may be either gunning for the top spot or at least kind of a competitor for Hot Fuzz, which I think came about 4th, 5th. I don't know, but yeah. I only watched the movie earlier this year and it's also quickly becoming one of my favourites. Thunderbirds, 2004. This was another one that made my top 10 movies list for about 2 years before eventually getting pushed back. I think once again by Inside Out. But it is another one of those ones that I know people don't look upon it particularly highly, especially people who are fans of the 60s show, but if I catch it while I'm channel hopping, I'll still stick around for it. I find it fun. I don't really want to say on it. Logan. This was one that I think last year did, for my 2017 movies, did make my top 10 before it was eventually pushed out in 2018 by another Hugh Jackman movie, The Greatest Showman. But, you know what? I still think it's a good movie. I mean, kind of just watching it, knowing that this is the last time Hugh Jackman was going to play Wolverine, just in that, it's a rather hard movie to watch, but if you can get through it, it's beautiful. Kingsman: The Golden Circle. Kingsman the Secret Service has consistently made the number one spot on my top 10 movies list, and while the sequel doesn't quite live up to the kind of heights of the first one, I don't think it's a bad movie. I mean, they certainly tried, and it has got some great moments in it. My particular favourite being the kind of parallel of Pedro Pascal doing what Colin Firth had been doing in the first movie, and the ultimate kind of fight scene between Taron Egerton and Colin Firth against Pedro Pascal. It's great fun to watch. It doesn't quite live up to the kind of heights its predecessor set, but it's still a good movie to watch. Megamind. I know I'm a bit of a kind of superhero nut, kind of watching mainly kind of vigilante movies, but Megamind was one that kind of fell into the background for me for a while, but then I kind of got it into my head and went back and rewatched it, and I still think it's a good movie. It's not, once again, it's not the greatest kind of superhero movie ever, but it's a good one to rewatch every now and again. And while it may not make my top 10, I do enjoy it. Well, there you go. A short list of some of my guilty pleasure movies. Ones that didn't quite make the top 10 list, but are definitely good ones to rewatch every now and again. Let's see if I pick up any more in the next few years. Until then, see ya.